Hey, butterfly, it's good to see you. Today, we're going to talk about money and how to have more of it. If I've done my job right by the end of this video, you should have some relief about the financial stressors that are leading you to watch this video in the first place. Money is energy, and one of the biggest mistakes that people make in terms of money is overlooking what the lack of money is actually trying to communicate. And you know me, energy and communication are my thing. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ty. I'm a professional medium and self discovery consultant here using my sixth sense to help your life make sense. Now that I have your undivided attention, this is the part where I'm going to drag you just a little bit. It's not going to hurt for that long. All right. So come down to the carpet, crisscross applesauce. I got to dig into my powers a little bit to let you know that I know I'm talking to you. You want me? Do you want me to whisper it so that it's softer? ASMR? I'm not going to do that. We're going to rip it off like a band aid. Okay. What I know about you is that you are independent, not by choice, mostly because the environment that you were raised in forced you to grow up pretty quickly. There weren't a lot of conversations about finances in your household outside of get a job and pay your bills. You didn't learn about finances until you were late 20s, early adults, and you made a lot of financial missteps. Not because you were being irresponsible, you just didn't know better. See, I know you. No, the dragon is not over. I'm just at the start of it. Instead of living paycheck to paycheck, you're probably living paycheck to credit card, paycheck to Klarna, which means that you really can't afford the current lifestyle that you have. Not because you don't work hard, because you do work hard. It's because no one ever taught you how to make more than the bills. The bills were the focal point. They told you to get a job so you can pay the bills. And what did you do? You racked up bills. You see how that cycle comes around? It's crazy. I know. And because you work so hard, you unintentionally close yourself off to abundance that comes in different forms. You have this unconscious belief that the money that you have has to be linked to something that you're doing. Yeah, I told you when I told you I wasn't lying. I know you. All the while you're doing all this working just to keep your head barely above water. You also do a lot of impulse spending because you got to reward yourself for these finances that you're sacrificing. And that keeps you in the cycle of what? Financial instability. Oh, it's a party over here. I remember my days in the financial instability. It was like YOLO. Now, this one might hurt, but I have to say it. I'm willing to bet that you undervalue your skills, which has caused you to be comfortable with accepting less than you deserve. I'm sorry. I had to say it because you left the money on the table when you didn't ask for what you're worth. And you did that a lot of times. You felt like you had to prove. You had imposter syndrome. But in actuality, you're the most qualified, taking the least. I'm going to get you out of that. Now, your peers, on the other hand, are on track to inherit property, cash from their family members. But for you, you're going to be the first one in your family to start thinking in that way to ensure that those behind you don't have to start from zero like you did. And I know that you feel that pressure because if you didn't, you would be completely fine with your finances being in shambles. But the fact that you are experiencing an internal discourse is proof, and I'm going to demonstrate it for you. It is proof that there is another route available for you. And the way that your body and spirit is communicating to you that this ain't it is by sending you those very feelings of fear, doubt, dissatisfaction with the way that your current finances are. There's hope, baby. Mm-mm-mm. All right, now, this is the last thing I'm going to say about you right now, okay? I told you. I had to drag you a little bit. It's in love. Because I need to hold the mirror to your face. So don't look behind you. It's not look to your neighbor. I'm talking to you. I am talking directly to you. And I need you to know that every single time. But that financial discomfort that you feel can be the very thing that can ignite your transformation. Because I'm going to tell you what it did for me. I had those same challenges, fears. I only talk about what I know. Okay. I remember going to the ATM and a woman in front of me left her receipt. Curiously, I looked at the receipt, she left it. She had a balance of $19,000 in her checking account. Now, at that time, I had a couple hundreds, and something in me said, if she had $19,000, I can have $19,000 too. I felt internal turmoil about my financial situation. I had already felt it and I was carrying it around. But that moment put it into perspective because I'm looking at this woman. There's not much difference between me and her. And in my mind, the gears clicked and I said, I can have $19,000. Now, what actually happened over the course of 7 months from the date that I saw that receipt, I took the receipt home. I put it on the wall next to my desk in I had an office nook. Today, I have an entire office. You guys are in my office with me right now. But then I was in an apartment and I had an office nook. Over the course of 7 months, I built my account up to 20,000. I went 1,000 over. I paid off all of my credit card debt. I paid my car off early and I scheduled the closing for my first home. Now, had I been someone who was okay with the struggle or the feeling of lack, I wouldn't have used that as inspiration to move forward and conquer the financial goals that I had. But it was in that moment that my spirit said, hey, you see that? You can have that. And I said, I can? Show me how. And that's exactly what I'm about to do for you right now. If you have made it this far in the video, mm, hey, big head. If you believe that there is something within you that can transform your current financial situation, go ahead and drop me a butterfly in the comments. I'm going to collect them later. I collect them with your edges and your beards after I drag you. I have like a garden of hair and butterflies. That's my jam. Before we start our lesson, I'm going to give you a 4-step process that I have used numerous times. In fact, I use this process in every area of my life: romance, creativity, purpose, finances, physical health. You're going to get so tired of me telling you this process over the duration of our weekly talks that at some point you're just going to let me in and you're going to utilize it. Because I'm going to beat you down. I'm going to beat you down. Before we can even go there, so I gave you a lot of information. So let's just take a second, do our breath work. And why I always come back to breath work, because a lot of us actually breathe incorrectly or shallow. And I find that when you have the habit of breathing incorrectly and shallow, it's an indication that you're not really present. And where's your power? In the present moment. That's why when you are trying to reach any type of goal, your fears and ego can only appeal from one place: the past. It'll say to you, you can't do X, Y, and Z because something happened back here. Or because something happened back here in the future, that's going to happen. Your fears and ego cannot touch the present moment. And that's where all your power is. And that's why I bring you to the present moment to remind you that this is the space where you create. So take 3 deep breaths with me. I'm going to count you out. In through the nose. This is our first breath. Big inhale. Fill your gut. Throw your shoulders back. Exhale through the mouth, wide. Cleansing breath. Push all of it out. Release. Good job. Second deep breath. In through the nose. In. Hold it. Out through the mouth. Exhale. You feel it? You're releasing. Last one. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. All right. Now you here with me. The first thing before we get into our 4-step process is to understand that money is energy, which means that it is fluid and it can be attracted or repelled. If you take one thing from this video, it is the understanding that everything is energy and your body will indicate the distance that you are from anything you seek. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing to know that anything that you want, your body can tell you how far away from it you are? It's like, what is that? Hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold. Your body literally can let you know you're hot, you're steaming, you're cold. You ready? You do not need any details for this process. I want to reiterate that. I want to double down and echo that. We are going to start very general because if you are in a space where you are seeking insight to improve your financial situation, then getting into the details will only allow your ego and fear to perk up and try to talk you out of it. And I'm trying to sneak past them. I'm trying to sneak. I don't even want them to know we in the house until we on the other side. I'm on base. You can't get me. That's how we playing this game. We're not even going to arouse the suspicion of our fears and our ego. We're going to take the back door. And then we're going to hop on base. Oh, you can't get me. You like that? Me too. I want you to imagine yourself as an explorer because that's what the process is going to mirror, an exploration. You're going to have to define where you're starting, where you're going, plug those coordinates into the GPS, and your internal compass is going to lead the way. The very first step is going to be assessing your point of attraction, aka where you're starting. So when you are embarking on any type of journey, the first thing that you do with a GPS is you say, I'm at this location. Typically, the GPS will locate you. This is what you're doing manually. And in order to locate where you are currently, we're going to ask yourself a question. And that question is, when I think about my current financial situation, I fill in the blank. I'm going to give you time to fill that in. You ready? Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Don't go too much into the details. Just the first thing that comes into your mind, I feel. And you got to be honest because if you telling the Uber to come pick you up from this house, but you really down the street, it's going to take you longer to get to where you got to get. Boy, my analogies be hitting. And I got to tell you, that ain't even me. That's me translating what I've been hearing in my head. Back to the point at hand. If your response is anything other than relaxed, stable, optimistic, joyous, free, I guarantee you that you are not experiencing any of those in your current situation. This is not one of those opposites attract. This is not, I can be down on my finances, but I could be up. Mm-mm, mm-mm. If your response is anything along the lines of, I feel fearful, I feel uncomfortable, I feel overwhelmed, I feel desperate, in need, those negative words will normally be the experiences that you are having. And I hate to say a negative versus positive because everything is informational, but for the terms of explanation, I have to separate them between negative and positive so that you can see what your thoughts are bringing towards you. And you're probably like, well, duh, Ty, would you want me to be happy about being broke? And my response to you is, if you were happy in your finances, you would not be broke. I put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it. Think of a person in your life who is needy. Has you giving them what they asked for ever prevented them from needing something in the future? No. Let me tell you no. The answer is no. If you gave them everything that they ever asked of you, would that stop them from needing something? No, because they have the energy of neediness. They will constantly be in need. And if that is what you feel about your finances, even when you come across a little piece of money, something's going to come up and I'll take that. You need 4 tires. Your hot water heater blew up. Somebody just passed away. You got to give to the funeral fund. You feel me? This is a clear demonstration of how energy works. There are no tricks here. What you emit, what your dominant thought is what your experience is. That simple. This is the part of the process where you get to take a step back and honestly look at what your dominant thoughts are, and you'll see, wow, I wasn't riding a horse in the derby. I was on a merry-go-round, chasing my tail like a dog, round and round and round and round, hoping that I get out of it, but constantly revisiting in my mind the fact that I don't have it. And guess what? I keep not having it. That's how it works. Very, very simple. Step one was us identifying where we are. So we're just going to use fear as an example to move through this 4-step process. Step two in the process is going to be locating the distance between where you are and where you want to be. This is the part of the GPS where you put in the destination. This is where I want to go. Take me here. And now it has to calculate how far away. It'll tell you you're this far away. It's going to take you this many hours to get to this spot. And we're going to do that by asking our second question. I love a good soul question, child, because your spirit will speak up once you start asking questions. Our second question is going to be, if finances were not a concern, how would I feel? First thing that comes to mind, don't overthink it. If finances were not a concern, how would I feel? Okay. Now, for our example, I'm going to go with the word generous, because generous is a good word to me. Generous means to me, not only do I have it, I got more than enough for me, I can give. All right. So our starting point is fear. Where I want to go is generous. We got our starting point and our ending point. No details. I didn't say I want a new job. I didn't say I want to win the lottery. I said, this is how I feel right now. And this is how I want to feel. And I want you to be very honest about where you want to go in your finances, because you can't go from desperation to, oh, I want to hit the mega millions, because it doesn't match. It does not match. That energy does not match. And what you do is, by trying to override moving the needle incrementally, you give your fear and ego space to wake up, like, oh, what's going on up in here? Who dreaming too big too fast? Hold on. Nah. Let me go through the cabinet. Cause I know back in 78, Charles was out here trying to win the lottery, then he got hit by a bus. When I tell you your fears and egos got rooms full of storage of things, somebody cousin down to the Pentagon went down to play the lottery. And would you believe, got struck by lightning, can't see no more. This is how your fear and ego is going to grab anything from anywhere that you even overheard and try to talk you out, because that's his job. Its job is to be active. It wants your attention. And that's the biggest battle that you face, is focusing on your fears or your desires. That's the biggest battle you'll ever face in your life internally. It's a 24/7 job. Sometimes that fear wins. Oh, damn, that happened to Charles. Oh, I better not go play that lottery. So what we're trying to do is we circumvent all of the details and we just go for how we want to feel. And that keeps our ego and our fears kind of like in a slumber state. They still up and they watching, but they're not actively trying to sabotage as much as they could once you identify a real target. Okay? So we got our starting point, we got where we want to go. Now, this is the part of the process where we basically have to convince the GPS of what we want to experience when we get to this destination. It's like when you plan a trip, you do your itinerary. I want to go and I want to experience this, and that. And that is step 3 in our process, setting the GPS. And what that entails is using the theater of your mind. And you know it's a theater because you've seen and heard some of the wildest things in your own thoughts. You're going to use that theater of your mind to really imagine what it will feel like to get there. Oh, I'm so generous. I feel so good being generous. I probably know causes and people that I can contribute money to. I know all my household stuff is paid for. I can go down to the grocery store and I don't even have to worry about the bill. I can go out to eat with my friends. I got the freedom to go and do what I want to do. This is where I am affirming the feeling of that generosity. This is me setting the GPS. This is our step 3. Doubling down, imagining what it actually feels like to reach that goal. The last step of our process. Now, we know where we start. We know where we're going. We know what it's going to feel like when we get there, right? Last thing to do is press go. Step 4, press start. Let's go. Press and start is where you give yourself permission to move out of survival mode into ease, which sounds easier than actually it is. Because again, when I dragged you earlier, we determined that struggle and survival is kind of your default. So it's easy for you to lean into that feeling. It's more difficult for you to imagine without any proof. You know what struggling has gotten you. You've lived a lifetime of that. You know what to expect. You don't know what it feels like to have the things that you desire and deserve and to not be living in a constant state of fear financially. Therefore, it is a little more of an effort to give yourself permission to move out of that. And you may not even know that this is something that you can give yourself permission to do. It's just what you have done. And you've done it because maybe you didn't know that you could ask the questions of yourself or that you can check those behaviors. Because a lot of the people who set you up with those thoughts and practices, they don't have much, do they? They don't have much. They loved you through fear by trying to keep you safe. And what safety has gotten them is predictability. And people love predictability because then you don't have to face the possibility of disappointment. In order to activate our journey, turn the power on, we have to turn the switch from searching to aligning with finding the thing that we're looking for. And by doing that, we affirm that we found the answer. It's a very simple thing. Looks a little something like this. I'm so glad that I realized what I'm supposed to be doing to improve my finances. Oh, I feel so much better and have so much more clarity in the realm of my finances. I know so much about finances now, I'm able to share that information with others. I'm training my kids on how to have a knowledgeable outlook when it comes to their money. And we are building that legacy together. So in step 3, we imagine what it was like to obtain the actual thing that we're working towards, which was generosity. Step 4, we are affirming that we found the answer to get us there. Y'all gonna be so tired of me, like I said. I have examples of this process working in every area of my life. But today we talk about money. Dollar bills, y'all. Magic of it is that you can do this over and over and over again. Let's say that today your financial goal was maybe something like getting a reliable car. Once you have that reliable car, let's say then you move up to you want a luxurious car. You don't have to stop. I always speak to your inner ability to transform your reality to what it is that you want, because at different points and different stages in your life, those desires will change. And you have to accept that. You have to be okay knowing that you are so powerful that your desires may change and you have the ability to then align with the new desires of your heart. Now, if you have made it this far, obviously, I have given you what I've promised to have given you. And you have to be feeling a little bit better, at least some relief in terms of your finances, knowing that how you start in the way that you feel about your finances is not necessarily how you end. And you don't need to know the details of the journey. You just have to pay attention to how you feel along the way. Now, what happens when you complete those 4 steps? Because you can do that right now. You could have did it along with me in this video. You can do it later on today, tomorrow, save this video. But what will happen is your internal compass will start to release pieces of information to give you insight on the how. You may get inspired to take a different route from work, and you see an advertisement about a new company coming, and maybe it's a new job. You may be inspired to, somebody crossed my mind, let me give this person a call. And lo and behold, they got some money that they want to give you, a little piece of money. There are endless ways in which your desire to feel better in terms of your finances can manifest. That's why you're not in charge of the details. Because again, like I told you before, if you are caught up on the fact that all of your income and money must come from you working, then you will cut yourself off from the surprises that could be in store that get you to your goal even faster than you could have imagined. All right? That is all that I have for you today. As always, make sure that you have subscribed to the channel, drop some butterflies in the comment, share this video with somebody who you think deserves a financial boost. Let me know what you thought about this video in the comments. You know, I like to see y'all commenting. I like my followers to be vocal about how they feel about me. Now, if you say something nasty, I'm gonna block you, because that's my right. I'm an American, and that's my right to block people when I don't like when they talking about. I hope that this has brought you the clarity that I promised, and I'll see you soon, butterfly. Bye.